In Shadowrun 5th edition, spirits don't hang around forever. Eventually you run into the problem that your spirit is going to leave you at the next sunrise or sunset. Perhaps you want to keep it around a little longer, just in case, or perhaps you're interested in taking advantage of a closer bond with your spirit. Whatever the reasons, you'll be needing to know the rules regarding the basics of binding spirits. In typical summoning conditions, a spirit will be obligated to serve a summoner only until the next sunrise or sunset occurs. Sometimes this short length of time is inconvenient for the summoner, who may be planning a long operation which requires an on-hand spirit. Perhaps the summoner simply wants to have a stable of spirits readily available in case an emergency arises. It is possible to bind a spirit to the summoner's service to make it stay for a somewhat more indefinite period of time, and allow it to do some things that an unbound spirit can't do. To do this, the summoner must first have summoned a spirit. Please see the GM screen video on the basics of spirit summoning for more info on how this is done. Once the spirit is summoned and is still in service, the summoner can make a binding test. This process will take a number of hours equal to the spirit's force and will require the summoner to spend a number of drams of reagents equal to 25 times the force of the spirit. It should also be noted that the character must know the binding skill. This test cannot be defaulted. The binding test is an opposed test between the summoner's binding plus magic versus 2 times the spirit's force. The force of the spirit is the limit on this test. At least 1 net hit must be achieved in order to successfully bind the spirit. Any net hits beyond the first net hit will increase the number of services owed by the spirit by 1 per hit. Whether the spirit is successfully bound or not, the character must make a drain resistance test. The drain value is equal to 2 times the total number of hits rolled by the spirit. This is not net hits, this is total hits, and there is a minimum drain value of 2. If binding is successful, then the spirit is bound and will not leave the service of the summoner upon the next sunrise or sunset. The spirit will stay in service to the character until all services are used. A bound spirit can be called from the metaplanes to the astral plane with a simple action. A bound spirit can also be used to aid the character in certain magical tasks, which an unbound spirit cannot. These include assisting the character with alchemy, sorcery, learning new spells, or sustaining existing spells. More info can be found on page 302 of the SR5 Core Rulebook, and will be covered in slightly more detail in a future video on spirit services. A summoner can only bind a number of spirits equal to their charisma attribute. Also, it is worth noting that spirits are living things and do not enjoy being bound and stored away to be used like tools later on. Acting like your spirits are a gun to be pulled when needed is likely to get you some black marks on your astral reputation.
Hey everybody, Bobby here. I just wanted to jump in again and let you know about the Patreon page we have going on. It's a really great way to support GM Screen and Complex Action in general. If you like what we do here, then why not consider becoming a patron and helping to support all the great stuff we do on GM Screen, help bump up the quality of what we're doing here, and also make it possible for me to get out some new stuff, some new exciting things that I have in my mind turning around that I'd love to get to you guys. It's really simple. You go to patreon.com/complexaction. There's a link down in the notes below. There's a video there that tells you how it all works and whatnot, and it's not all just for helping me get some stuff. If you become a patron, there's lots of cool rewards that you can get, like getting sent some copies of slides of the drawings that I do. Also, I'm in the process of designing some custom-made dice to send out to patrons. So get your name in the credits, all that kind of stuff. Just check it out on the Patreon page and find out all about it. I hope you consider becoming a patron, and bye-bye.